welcome to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks for joining me for today's video. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that I often use different color palettes to choose pencils for my coloring pages. In the past, I've used Pinterest to find palettes. I've used Sarah Renee Clark's color cubes. I've used the Practical Color Combinations book by Naomi Kuno. I've also used the Modern and Traditional Colors of Japan books that I have on my iPad. So yeah, I've got various sources that I've used in the past. I've also used Adobe Colors and Adobe Colors to find different gradients and to enhance the number of options for these different palettes. And there are videos up on the channel that I will link in the description box for how I use all of these tools. And now we have a new tool that has been added to the arsenal for colorists, and it is Karen from My Colorful Country Life's new palette kit website. She has worked together with her brother, and they have created a really, really useful tool for colorists to create gradients and to find pencils for the palettes that they use. I just want to emphasize that this website is not a website for finding palettes. There are lots of other sources, as I said, Pinterest, the Color Cube, and so on, for finding the palettes. But once you have them, you can use the tool to create gradients and match them to pencils and convert pencils from one brand to another using Karen's website. So I'm just going to go over to my computer screen now and show you how I use the website to create gradients for this particular palette. I took this palette from the Color Cube and I created palettes for each one of these colors that is on the palettes. So I have gradients for the turquoise surf, the blue sapphire, the anthracite, English violet, mulberry, and dark salmon. And I'll show you that and how I did that using her website. And then I'll come back and show you how I matched pencils to those gradients and applied them to a page in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson. Right. This is the palette kit website created by Karen and her brother, and thank you very much, Karen, for doing this and for creating this tool for us. Anyway, you can easily find the website by Googling palette kit or going to www.paletkit.com. I have also added the link to my bookmark bar so that I can have quick and easy access to it. Once you land on the landing page, it will give you information on how to get started for free. You can view the pricing. You can view all of the features that the website has right now and ones that are upcoming, brands of pencils, and so on. I strongly recommend going to Karen's YouTube channel and watching her very detailed video on the reasoning behind it and how the pricing works and all of that. You can also go to Joe at Geordie Colors and Jess at Coloring Bumblebee, both of whom have very helpful videos showing you how they signed up and how they use the website themselves, and I'll be showing you how I use it to create gradients based on the palettes that I use. So it's very easy to sign up, and if you have already signed up following the instructions, then you can just log in by signing in. So let me do that now. Okay, once you have signed in, if you click on My Kit, you have three options here. There are saved gradients. These are gradients that Karen has created, and she also has videos on her channel of exactly how she created each and every one of these gradients, and you can save them to your collection. Or you can have My Gradients. These are gradients that you create yourself. And then there are My Pencils. These are pencils from the larger collection of pencils that you can add to your own kit. And as she said, palettes, I think these are palettes that she will be creating, will be coming soon. For today, I'm just going to talk about the My Gradient section because this is where I have added the gradients that I have created. So for example, here on this collection, you can see all of the gradients that I created based on the Sarah Renee Clark Color Cube palette that I chose. So we have here the turquoise surf, the blue sapphire, the anthracite, the English violet, and the mulberry. I chose to create these palettes using luminance pencils because I decided that I wanted to use luminance. And so all of the pencils in these gradients are those pencils. Now I'm just going to show you how you can create your own gradient based on a different set of pencils. So for example, I go to, hold on, one second. Here I go to create new and I click on the button, and it comes up the screen for creating your own new gradient. So you can enter a gradient name. So say for example, I'm going to be doing the dark salmon, yes, but I'm going to give it a different name because I already have dark salmon. So let's just put here new. Okay, here you can put in some notes about your gradient. For example, the source of the palette. So for me, it's Sarah Renee Clark's color cube, and it is palette 780. I'm using it on my Lady Octopus page. And then you can add a pencil. Now, when you do select pencil, you can either have My Kit marked, and so it will take the pencils from pencils that you have saved. If you have not saved a particular pencil to My Kit, it's not going to find it in your kit, and you might have to go to All Pencils. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to do Prismacolor, and I want it to be light peach. Okay, so I search and it will come up because I have added it to my kit. Okay, and then let's say I want to add nectar. Okay. Now, one thing that's very important, if you do not have a pencil in My Kit, as I said, it's not going to find the pencil in your kit and you have to go to All Pencils. There are instances when I've gone to All Pencils and not been able to find it, and so I've needed to go to the main page of the website here and search here. If you click Browse All from this page and you haven't created your gradient yet, you're going to lose whatever work you have done here. So I recommend that as soon as you feel that you need to leave this page, make sure to do Create Gradient. So let's do Create Gradient. It will only create a gradient if you have at least 2 pencils in your gradient. Okay, so here I have my new gradient. I can always go back and click on the edit button and add pencils. Of course, make sure to do update gradient to make sure that whatever changes you make are saved. And once I am out of there and it's saved, I can go to my pencils, browse all, and then find whatever pencil that I want to add to my collection. And if you hover onto the brand of pencil and click only, it's going to come up with only those pencils that are in your search, okay? Only Prismacolor pencils, okay? And if you click on the bookmark tab, it will add it to your pencils in your kit. Okay, so that is a very easy way to find and locate the pencils that you want to add to your gradients. So let's go back to my gradients, and let's say I want to add another pencil. Let's say I want to add burnt sienna. Okay. And yes, it will come up with all of these different brands because I've got all pencils marked. But if I only want them from Prismacolor, I can also put in the number of the pencil. So I think it's 943 maybe. Well, 943 is burnt ochre, but it's okay. Okay, if you know your Prismacolor numbers, it's even easier. So you can do it by the name of the pencil, by the number of the pencil. You can do it from all pencils or just my kit, and it is really easy to build these gradients. And again, always make sure to click Update Gradient so that your gradient is saved. Once you have built up whatever gradient you want, then you have the option of converting the gradients to other brands of pencils. Now, this is only possible using the gradients that Karen has created. So if you go to Saved Gradients, okay, and you have saved any one of the gradients that she has created for the site, and you click on the Convert button, it will give you the alternatives for these colors in other brands of pencils. Unfortunately, this option is not yet available for gradients that you create yourself. Karen did say that she would be working on making this available, and I really hope that it will be available soon. So as you can see, there's no convert button as of yet. But of course, as I said, Karen is going to be adding lots of different features in the future. She's going to be adding additional pencil brands and so on. So we will definitely be keeping a close eye on all of the updates to the site. In the meantime, I'm just going to show you what I do once I have created my gradient. And to do that, I will go back to my own color palette in my own swatch book and show you how I took these colors and swatched them out to create my palette for my page. Okay, so let's do that now. As I said, I'm using Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cube palette for my page in Daydreams by Hannah Carlson, and I created the gradients for all of these colors in the Palette Kit website. So how did I choose the pencils to build that gradient? I took the swatch and I went to my own swatches for the luminance pencils because I decided that I wanted to use luminance. Okay, now you can use any brand of pencil. You can even mix and match. So say, for example, if there isn't an exact match for a color in the luminance, I can also supplement a different color from a different set. So I, for example, think that the light fast and the luminance work really well together, and I can always find a color that matches in the light fast, but not necessarily as close in the luminance, and switch them out when I build my gradient in the Palette Kit website. Right now, unfortunately, the light fast pencils have not yet been added to the Palette Kit website, but I'm really hoping that Karen will add them soon. In the meantime, I built my palette for these particular colors from the luminance pencils, built them in the gradient, and then I swatched them out again in my own swatch book. All right, so that I could see exactly how the colors would work with the gradient on the website. So for now, I have my turquoise surf. Okay, I have the blue sapphire, the anthracite, the English violet, the mulberry, and the dark salmon, all with luminance pencils and all with the gradient that I created in Karen's website in mind. And once I have my pencils, I can then go to my page. Yes, and take those pencils that I swatched out and put them onto the page. So if you remember, I will take a screenshot and I'll put it up here in the corner. This is my dark salmon combo, and it is those colors that I put into Karen's website, and then I put them down onto the page, and you can see the gradient that was created on the website in the hair or the octopus tentacles, depending on what you think they are. You can see it on the page. So this is a really, really useful tool to have in our arsenal as colorists, and I'm looking forward to using it a great deal in the future, and hoping that it helps me choose colors for my palettes. I will also be using it, of course, in conjunction with Adobe Colors and Adobe Colors for choosing pencils, creating gradients, and so on. Right, so I hope that you have found this video helpful, and again, I recommend going to Karen's YouTube channel and watching her excellent video explaining how the Palette Kit works. Thanks again, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.